Welcome to our channel Ethics, Economy, Politics. I am Dr. G. Soundrapandian. Today I will be giving you a presentation of the video The End for USA Dollar, the impending fall of the US empire. Let us understand how did US become rich and also become the superpower. There are 2 points which made United States the superpower. Point number 1, the US dollar becomes the currency for international trade. USA printed plenty of dollar notes, currencies, more than 22 trillion USD, and automatically becomes rich and the superpower. This is point number 1. And point number 2, the currencies of other countries were depreciated in the name of trade deficits against the US dollar every year, forcing the imports to become costly, and the energy flew from other countries into USA, making it a bigger and bigger superpower. How did the USA become a superpower? The main reason, according to me, is their inventions in electronics, I should say. And the other reasons are, of course, their continued scientific research, formation of universities, military, use of the military funds in the universities, the industries and products. I mean, all these led to big trade with the other parts of the world. New innovations and new products made in USA were exported to other countries, starting the piling of money and wealth in USA. Innovations also made USA as the superpower in military terms, not only economical terms, in military terms also. Innovations in electronics and Silicon Valley were the initial reasons for pushing the trade wealth of USA up to the point of US becoming the superpower economically and militarily. The inventions that happened in the USA are listed here in this slide, like invention of the alternating current, electromagnetic waves. 200 years back, the electric motor was invented in the USA. Triode, that is the vacuum tube for the electronics, was invented in 1906. The first television came in 1927. Invention of Morse code for long distance telecommunication was made, and later the telephone was invented by Alexander Graham Bell. Then came the invention of aeroplanes, the invention of the nuclear bomb in 1945, the invention of transistor. The transistor replaced the vacuum tubes of electronics earlier. The invention leading to integrated circuits and microprocessors. Innovations of rocket and space travel to moon, Mars, etc. Manufacturing of military hardware. Innovations in biotechnology, making of antibiotics, understanding of DNA, understanding of stem cells. Then came innovations of the TCP/IP protocol and the internet of today, innovations of Microsoft software. Now the research is still continuing, which is AI and robotics. The technology is yet to be perfected. And the last, electronic products including test and measuring instruments made by the United States, which were used by the other countries. USA became the superpower for two cool reasons that brought easy money into the United States. Point number one, since countries used US dollar for the trade, USA becomes rich by just printing plenty of USD currency notes. The Federal Reserve has printed an estimated $22 trillion worth of US dollars as of 2023. And point number two that brought easy money into the United States, every country exported some products but imported many products, not only from USA, from other countries, creating trade deficits in many countries. The currency of many countries get devalued or depreciated year after year due to their trade deficit only against the US dollar. That is, the countries who are importing more from other parts of the world, their currency will be depreciated only against the US dollar. This is another reason for making USA rich. How? Okay, let us understand how the depreciation of a country happened. Let us take, for example, India. The slide shows the value of 1 US dollar in rupees from the year 1913 to 2025. You can verify that 1 USD was equal to only 10 paise, that is rupees 0.1 in 1925. When India got independence, $1 was worth only rupees 3.3. And today the dollar is $1 is 87 rupees in 2025. It might be increasing also towards 100 rupees. The Indian rupee, as we see in the table, got depreciated 870 times over the period of time, continuously. Let us see an example of the effect of rupee depreciation against the US dollar. Assume an aeroplane costs $100 million and India imports the plane from the USA. India could have imported one plane with just rupees 33 crores in 1947, with rupees 330 crores in 1995, with rupees 870 crores today in 2025. What it shows here that the third world country like India has to give more and more and more money for the same product, and it could be even 1,000 times. So much of wealth from the third world country is absorbed into the superpower, that is into the United States. This is the easy money. earned by the USA from all the countries who are having trade deficits. So almost every country got looted and made poorer in the name of depreciation of the currency against US dollar. And this easy money flows to the USA, making USA the superpower. So these were the two main reasons. One is printing of the dollar, and second is depreciation of the currencies of other countries. That was the reason for USA to amass a lot of wealth, leading to formation of a superpower in the world. Coming to the depreciation of the money, even if India today brings a lot of software jobs to Bangalore and makes trade surplus against USA, Rupee will still be depreciated more and more against US dollar. It is happening today. Why? In 2023 to 24, India had a trade surplus. Remember, it is not trade deficit. India is making a trade surplus against the United States of $36.74 billion. Still, $1 is 87 rupees, and it might increase also. Instead of depreciating the dollar, they are depreciating the rupee. What is the logic? We see that India is importing a lot of items from China by using US dollars, and this makes a large trade deficit with China. For example, with the deficit of India reaching $85.1 billion against China in the fiscal year 2024. So the rupee will be depreciated because of the trade deficit with China, not against the China's yuan, but against the US dollar. That is the superpower advantage of USA with its US dollar as that trade currency. If BRICS replaces the dollar from the international trade, US dollar must automatically depreciate against Indian rupee in the coming days due to the current trade deficit of USA against India. Okay, we saw how USA became a superpower. Now, if you see the history, there were so many empires. Another name for superpower. In 3100 BC, in Egypt, Normer became the first pharaoh of Egypt. In the year 356 to 323 BCE, in Greece, Alexander the Great, he created an empire stretching from Greece to northwestern India. Then came the Roman Empire. Julius Caesar, from 100 BC to 44 BC, he created the Roman Empire. In the photograph, it is showing Julius Caesar along with Cleopatra of Egypt. So, because of their relations, They had a baby also. The Roman Empire and Egyptian Empire merged to make a superpower of the Roman Empire. Then we saw the emergence of the British Empire. The British Empire ruled India and the United States also. Okay, just now the American Empire is under Donald Trump in 2025. Now we are seeing the rise of several empires in the world. So a rise of an empire is not permanent, and the empires fall and new empires are born, as shown in the slide. Right now we are coming to the American Empire. Why is American Empire falling? Now I have listed a number of points. Point number 1, the law of business cycle. Time has come to fall. If I am doing any business, the business is normally cyclic. So I may work hard and I may become very rich. The business will have a lot of money, but that will not be permanent and it will not be going exponentially high all the time. One day it will fall. The same way, the wealth of America had increased and increased, and now it is time for the fall. Okay, so but what are the reasons? So I told there were two reasons which were making the United States as a superpower. One of the reasons is actually making the US to fall also. How? We saw that the currencies of other countries were depreciated against dollar. Too much depreciation of currencies like yuan and rupee made cheaper manpower availability in China and India. The US companies moved their manufacturing to China to maximize their profits, transferring the technology secrets and manufacturing to China. This resulted in China emerging as the number one manufacturing country in the world. India emerges as a software hub with salaries coming from USA. Also, many Indians settle in USA as software engineers and sent money back to India. So this is one reason. The depreciation of currencies is acting against United States. Point number 5, USA now imports more as compared to the exports. US trade deficits increased beyond limits. Currently it is standing at $918 billion. USA has trade deficits even against India today. Point number 6, debts of USA become higher than GDP. The United States GDP is $29,167 billion, but their debt was $33.1 trillion, out of which 12.1 trillion is in intra-governmental debt. So we are seeing two major points. One is that because USA is not manufacturing, they are only importing, that is leading to trade deficit at the US end. It should have been trade surplus, but they are making trade deficit. And second point, they were taking a lot of loans for the expansion, debts, and the debts are too high, and it is higher than their GDP, and at any time they may become bankrupt. The last point, 7, BRICS countries plot against the dollar. They do not want USD for trade anymore, but use BRICS currency or exchange their own currencies for the trade. So the two mechanisms of making easy money for USA now failed. One, depreciated currencies of other countries will bring easy money into USA only if USA exports more to each country. But now USA is importing more. If USA starts importing more from countries like India and China, reverse easy extra money flow will occur. That is, the money flow now will happen from other countries, from US to other countries in the reverse direction. USA must be only exporting more, not import so much. And point number 2, we said that US at any time could print a lot of dollar currencies to retain the superpower status. That also is now not possible because the formation of BRICS, they do not want to use USD for the trade. So therefore, printing of excess new dollar currencies will be useless at the USA end. So the two mechanisms of making easy money of USA now failed totally. The blood required for being a superpower is drying up at the USA end. Now, what will be the destiny of US dollar in the near future? BRICS countries do not trade in US dollars. That will erode USA and USD economically. So, the depreciation of currencies of others against dollar will stop and the reverse will happen. $1 may reduce towards 1 rupee from the current value of 87 rupees as shown in the slide. The slide shows that US trade deficit with India is $36.74 billion. Now the climax. USA is becoming bankrupt. When? How? Let us see. Right now, US is almost drowned in debts. Now let's see what Elon Musk says.
It's going bankrupt. Like we don't take action, dollar's gonna be worth nothing, and the interest payments, which are already 23% of all government income, income taxes, tariffs, and everything, is just going to pay interest right now, and that number is continually rising. So if we don't do something, the entire government budget will be paying interest. There won't be money for anything. No, there won't be money for Social Security. There won't be money for Medicare. Nothing. That's where we're headed. That's what bankruptcy means.
Can you explain why this is so important that we identify all this waste?
Yes, the government the government waste and fraud is so high that it's causing a $2 trillion annual deficit. So,
what happened to it, and how it went into bankruptcy, and what are the things that happened to Greece? Let us have a look at. Similar things might happen to the USA also.
It's 1999, and the Greek government is in a bit of a pickle. The European Union has just launched a fancy new currency, the euro, that will be shared by its members. But even though Greece is part of the EU, they're left off the invite. You see, despite massive tax evasion problems, the Greek government has been spending to boost social benefits and wages, which has caused their debt to GDP to rise well above the 60% required to adopt the currency. So now they must decide between cutting back spending or missing out on the Eurozone party. Unless, of course, there's a third option. You see, Goldman Sachs, an American investment bank, comes along with an idea, a way to meet the currency adoption criteria by masking the government's debt load through currency swaps. It involves a bit of lying, but this way the country can avoid radical reforms and reap the benefits of the euro. A win-win. So Greece gives it a shot, using the sleight of hand to adopt the currency in 2001. And sure enough, the stunt pays off. The currency brings with it more trade, and since the euro allows Greece to pay back off the financial strength of its fellow Eurozone members, the government gains access to better financing, enough to even bring the Olympics home for 2004. Sure, debt to GDP continues to rise above 110%, and things are a little precarious, but hey, the economy is growing, there's plenty of EU money funding the budget deficit, and so long as things keep rolling, everything will be that's not good. Looks like a real estate crisis in the US has triggered a global recession, and it's hitting Greece like a train. GDP is falling as tourism and shipping slow down, with the Athens Stock Exchange plummeting 65% in 2008. Worse yet, borrowing costs are increasing. Oh, and that shared currency we fought so hard for? Well, it's preventing Greece from stabilizing through monetary policy. And just in case things didn't look bad enough, surprise, in 2009, it's revealed that the government has been cooking the books, and its budget deficit is not 6.7%, but double that. Whoops. I mean, more than double the original estimate. Borrowing costs skyrocket as the entire country's credibility is smashed like a plate on the floor. Opa. On April 27, 2010, with a debt to GDP of 127%, the country's credit rating is dropped to junk, plummeting Greece towards default as it begins to drown in its pile of public debt. But look, on the horizon, is it a bird? Is it a plane? No, it's a buttload of money. The Troika, a group consisting of 2 EU entities in the International Monetary Fund, has come to bail Greece out in a bid to save the EU from the ramifications of a Greek default. Here's the plan. Lend Greece 110 billion euros to avoid default, use the bailout money to pay off expensive creditors, get the government to commit to higher taxes and lower spending to bring the country back into a surplus, and wait for this recession to blow over. So, on May 2nd, 2010, the Troika tosses Greece a lifeline, and damn. The bailout doesn't quite fix the problem. In fact, the austerity measures have put further pressure on GDP and brought debt to GDP up to 172% by 2011, with creditors quickly draining the bailout funds. This is bad, and the Troika realized that more drastic measures are required, so they devise a new plan. Give Greece another 130 billion euros, negotiate with creditors to cut the country's IOU by 53.5%, get the government to commit to further austerity measures to bring the country back into a surplus, and wait for this depression to blow over. So on February 21st, 2012, the Troika prepares the largest sovereign debt restructuring in history, tosses Greece its second lifeline, and success! The program grabs a hold, and after 2 years of further tax reforms, layoffs, and wage cuts, the government reports a structural surplus. But wait, Greece is starting to fight back. You see, the Troika's bailout terms, they're helping the government get a handle on its debt, are causing unrest at home, with Greeks bearing the burden of falling wages, rising taxes, and unemployment above 25%. So when a snap election occurs in 2015, the people break over 40 years of two-party rule and elect a new anti-austerity party to office in a bid for change. The new prime minister promises to boost spending and throw down the gauntlet to the Troika to renegotiate terms, raising tensions between the government and the Troika until the country's lifeline snaps and, ladies and gentlemen, all hell breaks loose. Creditors flee Greece once again, and a liquidity crisis emerges, with fear gripping the country amid concerns of Brexit, Greece's departure from the EU. Negotiations with the Troika fall through as even its members clash, and on June 30th, 2015, with the government unable to secure any further debt relief, Greece defaults, missing a 1.6 billion euro debt payment to the IMF, the first developed country to ever do so. The foundation of Greece's economy begins to crack as the government shuts down its stock exchange and banking system. Greeks continue to fight against a new bailout proposed by the EU, but at this point, with the country in financial purgatory, Brexit inching closer, and no more leverage for negotiation, on July 16th, a very desperate government throws in the towel, grabbing a hold of the EU's third lifeline and accepting an 86 billion euro bailout in August. And so, with the fight to boost spending meeting a dramatic end, the Greek people prepare once again for a round of cuts, reforms, and hard times ahead. All in, the economy would shrink 25% as a result of the crisis. And while Greece has since finished its bailout program, the country to this day maintains a debt to GDP of 181%. And Greek people continue to suffer, with 1 in 3 Greeks at risk of living in poverty. It goes to show the terrible consequences of fiscal mismanagement. And as Greece continues down its road to recovery, let us not forget the valuable and devastating case study it provided.
Which countries became bankrupt earlier? Sri Lanka defaulted on its $83 billion debt in April 2022. Venezuela, a current debt of $154 billion. Zambia defaulted on its Eurobond debt in 2020. Argentina experienced an economic crisis, 1999-2002. Greece defaulting on a debt of €1.6 billion to the IMF in 2015. Mexico, 1970 and early 1980, defaulting on US and IMF loans. Others, Spain and Australia's sovereign defaults in the past. What happens when a nation becomes bankrupt? It can no longer borrow money unless it offers huge rates of interest, and many times not even then. Nation can't import crucial stuff and would have a lot of issues due to shortages. Its own currency would crash. The country would appeal to the World Bank for relief. At this stage, it's no longer called debt, and the World Bank will demand a few conditions and extend the relief to enable the nation to import stuff. National debt of United States. Currently the total debt is about $35.8 trillion. The yellow color shows the debts owed to other countries. The graph in red is showing the debt of USA owed to its citizens. Fortunately, since the USD was the international currency, the debts collected from local Americans were as good as loans from outside, now with the same value. Still, international debts are around $7 trillion. When forced to bankruptcy, USA may have to increase the foreign debt for continued imports as their local currency would be worthless. Potential scenarios if US becomes bankrupt. 1. Global recession. A US bankruptcy could trigger a global recession, as countries struggle to cope with the economic fallout. 2. The Great Depression. Companies will go bankrupt all over, including banks, and the effects will cascade through the economy. The dollar will plunge in value. Unemployment would be over 25% practically overnight. It may reach 50% in a few months. 3. New global reserve currency. The crisis could lead to a shift away from the US dollar as the global reserve currency, potentially paving the way for alternative currencies like the BRICS, Euro, Yuan, or a digital currency. 4. Increased global cooperation. In response to the crisis, countries might come together to establish new international financial frameworks, potentially leading to increased global cooperation and stability. 5. Silver lining for other countries. After bankruptcy, the products formerly exported to the United States will now be available for the rest of the world to consume. The United States has 4% of the world's population, but is currently consuming 20% of the world's goods. When USA becomes bankrupt, there will be a large surplus of goods that will now be available for the world to enjoy. What do you think? Please answer this question. Question: the tough stand taken by Trump, like throwing away illegal immigrants, tariff hikes, reciprocal tariffs, trade war with China, Canada, European Union, Mexico plus Musk's DOGE stopping USAID, 300,000 job cuts in government, etc. will A. Not reduce the debts, but savings of about $2 trillion will stop the debts at $35.8 trillion without further increase. B. Backfire, like sharp fall in stocks by $5 trillion, job cuts in companies, people going without food and money, hatred towards Musk and Tesla affecting his business, hatred towards the new president plus the enemy countries retaliating, and GDP will fall. C. Fall of USD due to BRICS will hit US economy very hard, and Trump and Musk efforts will be insignificant when compared to the natural fall. D. All the three options A, B and C will happen. Please write your comments in the comments section and also subscribe to this new YT channel. Also please put a like. Thank you.